for Dr. Kraft. You ready, Doc?
I'm ready.
Okay, good.
All
All right. I'd like to call the General Committee meeting to order. Ms. Boche, would you lead us in the prayer, please?
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for guiding us through a smooth opening to our summer programs. We ask that you continue to watch over those in our school board family as they enjoy their summer break. We are grateful for those teachers and staff members who stepped up to work with our students in summer programs, and we ask that you bless them for their dedication. Guide us now as we prepare for the coming school year and help us to focus on best practices for teaching and learning that will continue the forward movement of our district. These things we ask in your name.
Amen. Ms. Lamorne, would you lead us in pledge, please?
Yes. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Boche, your roll call, please.
Mrs. Acevedo is not with us. Mr. Campbell?
Here.
Dr. Kraft? Mr. Egan? Mr. Gaines?
Here.
Mrs. Dysart?
Here.
Mr. England?
Here.
Mrs. Lemoyne?
Here.
Mr. Long?
Here.
Mr. Smith?
Here.
And Mr. Warner?
Here.
Thank you, Ms. Boche. Okay, we'll move on to item number 4. This is-
Excuse me, Mr. England.
I'm sorry.
Could I have a moment, please? A
Sure.
point of privilege. At this time, we're all aware we had some very sad news today on the loss of our former parish president, Mr. David Peralta, who was also a former Shelman High School graduate. Many of us knew him, for many years, and we knew him as he was police officer and worked for the council, and then was the former parish president. And we heard of his loss this morning, and at this time I'd like to take a moment of silence, please, for Mr. David Peralta.
Sure.
Thank you, and our deepest heartfelt condolences go out to the Peralta family.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Dysart, for that. Okay, we'll move on to item number 4. Super News, Ms. Alex Snyder. Good evening.
Good evening. Tonight marks the last communications report for the 2017-2018 school year. Press this previous month focused primarily on end-of-year celebrations as well as graduations. Press coverage not only included what was on print and in the papers on Facebook, but we also had a lot of viewership on our YouTube page this last month, as graduation was live streamed, and over 1,000 viewers from across the United States, including Alaska, saw that graduation performed live. Thanks to both Barry and Jack and the Men of Penn. So I just wanted to shout them out real quick. The second page highlights the different social media posts for this previous month and is a snapshot of our district website is on page 3. We have 2 campaigns currently taking place, one focusing on our teacher recruitment efforts and the other on the upcoming Performing Arts Academy's performance of Into the Woods. Tickets are going fast. I stopped by rehearsal this afternoon. As many of you know, that performance highlights nearly 22 of our graduating seniors who all have lead performances in this upcoming show, and so I had an opportunity to interview a few of them, and they are very excited about the performances. Opening night is next Friday, the 22nd, and I highly recommend you visit the website to get more information about tickets, which can be purchased online or by calling the box office. Also coming up, next Thursday, the Lieutenant Governor, Billy Nungesser, will be speaking at the Chamber's annual breakfast being held at the Momus Center. I'll be orchestrating attendance of board and district administration. If you are interested in attending that event at Momus Center, please just let me know and I will orchestrate getting us a table.
What date is that now?
It's a week from Thursday. I think
Thursday the
21st.
June 21st, Thursday morning at the Moment Center.
And that will
And
about...
just if I interject, it should be, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to miss it because I have a conference that day with a superintendent's conference. But not only will we be hosting the chamber, at which Mr. Gesser will speak, but the science camp will be going on at the same time. So it will give you an opportunity to see a lot of the kids running around as well. So it might be a very lively morning if you do decide to attend the breakfast.
Yeah, we have a Rotary, but we got a business meeting, so I won't be introducing the speaker on the 21st. So I'll be able to go.
Great.
go to
So
the-
just let Ms. Schneider know and she'll let you know.
All right, I'm letting you know.
Okay.
It's a breakfast.
It's a breakfast.
It's a breakfast.
Oh, it's breakfast. Yeah,
Yes,
that's
it's a breakfast.
Yeah.
I still can make it to the business.
Wonderful.
Unfortunately, Alex, I'm going to be out of town, the
Okay.
wife and I. Okay.
And so, without further ado, I'm going to let Jack hit play on our final Super News for the 2017-2018 school year.
And now from the desk of the superintendent's office, it's time for Super News.
Hi, I'm Alex Schneider.
Hi, I'm Barry Lemoyne, and welcome to this edition of Super News.
We are broadcasting from the Chalmette High School pool, the site of our summer swim program.
And we'll kick things off with a teacher who has made quite a splash in our district. Jenny Maldonado, a 6th grade English teacher at Andrew Jackson Middle School and our district middle school teacher of the year, was recently named as a statewide semifinalist in the Teacher of the Year competition. Maldonado is one of just 24 teachers statewide to receive this distinction based on classroom observations and student growth on statewide assessments. Congratulations to this creative, dedicated, ambitious, and teaching professional, and best of luck on the state competition.
It's not just one group of students that you're teaching everyone. Every child that walks through that door is now your baby, and you get to be the one who transforms that person into a better version of themselves.
And just as we are celebrating this leading teacher, we are also celebrating our teacher leaders. Recently, elementary and secondary instructional leaders and administrators gathered at Chalmette Elementary to celebrate the end of yet another school year. These amazing educators are responsible for leading our district's instructional initiatives, and we are so grateful for their expertise, dedication, and passion for curriculum and instruction.
All of their efforts and the work of all of our teachers from across the district culminate each year at the Chalmette High School graduation. This year, 450 owls received their diplomas at the University of New Orleans Lakefront Arena. An outstanding class, this graduating seniors earned over $13.5 million in scholarships, and more than half of these scholars earned college credit during their time in high school. The senior class was led by 4 valedictorians and 2 salutatorians.
This is truly a wonderful evening, a celebration of educational accomplishment, of life, and of the renewal of St. Bernard Parish. I hope your years at Chalmette High School will be fond memories for you in the years to come. Never forget the love and friendship shown to you by your fellow students and the Chalmette High School staff.
Other accomplishments of the class of 2018 were many and varied. 7 students graduated with their high school diploma and an Associates of Applied Science degree in Petroleum Technology, or PTech, from Nunez Community College. 270 students earned direct college credit through dual enrollment, saving students and families both time and money. And 5 graduates earned a Certificate of Technical Studies from Nunez Community College. We are proud of all of their achievements and know they will represent our district well in all of their future endeavors.
And just as these students were leaving high school, others were celebrating the closing of their milestone years as kindergarten, 5th grade, and 8th grade exit ceremonies took place across the district. Congratulations to all of our students, and best of luck next year.
In other news, the Performing Arts Academy will bring audiences a twist on the beloved fairy tales of Cinderella, Little Red Riding Hood, Jack and the Beanstalk, and Rapunzel in this summer's production of Into the Woods. Nearly 100 students have been in production for the last several weeks to put on what sure will be another Broadway caliber performance.
Not to sigh and not to sorrow, tenderness and laughter, joy today and bliss tomorrow and forever after.
While some alum do make their way back to the summer stage. For many of this year's Chalmette High School Voices graduates, this will be their last performance at the Cultural Arts Center. Come into the woods and see these incredible performers one last time at the following performances. Tickets can be purchased by visiting the Academy's website page listed below.
Well, that would just about do it for this edition of Super News. But before we say goodbye to you, we want to say goodbye to a trio of outstanding educators who will be gone but never forgotten.
With love and gratitude, we say farewell to 3 of our district's principals, Dr. Montrell Senegar, Donna Schultz, and Stacy Alfonso, who retired this year. Their commitment to the children of our community and their impact on our entire district was remarkable, and we are forever indebted to them for their leadership and compassion.
Dr. Senegar is truly an amazing principal. She's funny, outgoing, you can relate with her with anything. She'll be there for you whenever you need her.
Congratulations, Donna, on your retirement. I can't thank you enough for being an amazing mentor to me, and I promise to keep the legacy going that you've left here at Davies. Love you. Bye.
Stacy Alfonso, you are the best in everything I do in this school. I will always have you in mind with every decision that is made. Thank you, thank you, thank you for the opportunities you have given to me. I love you.
We will miss you all. Best of luck on your retirement, and we look forward to seeing y'all next year as Volunteers of the Year.
Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on Super News, where we always let
The Super News roll. We'll see you next time. Enjoy the summer.
Job, keep the work up, enjoy the summer. Any questions from Ms. Snyder? Nope. Thank you again. Okay, now we're going to move on to item number 5, is donation from Gethsemane Lutheran Church. Mr. Tommy Powell.
Good evening. Good evening. It's such an extreme privilege for me to come before you, which I feel is good news, especially when the presenter that I'm going to present to you is a woman of God. It's always nice to have God on our side.
That's right.
She is from Gethsemane Lutheran Church here in St. Bernard Parish. She's also an educator. Teaches music in elementary schools in another district. But without further ado, I want to present to the board Pastor Sandra from Gethsemane Lutheran Church.
Thank you all so very much. I appreciate your hospitality this evening, and it is my privilege to represent my congregation, Gethsemane Lutheran Church. As you know, February 14th was Ash Wednesday, the beginning of our Lenten devotions, and it was also the day of the Parkland, Florida school shootings. So our congregation, with our leadership, asked ourselves, what could we do as a faith community to help in the light of this tragedy? And so we met with the St. Bernard Sheriff's Department and talked to them. And one of the things that we learned there was that many of the victims of these tragedies died because they did not have the proper trauma first aid kits on site, that basically they bled out before help could arrive to be there to help them. And so we decided to make our Lenten offering to buy these special trauma first aid kits for each of the public schools in St. Bernard Parish. And our goal was just to make sure there was one in each school. But thanks to the generosity of people who came to our Ashes to Go on Ash Wednesday and the generosity of the people of our community, we almost tripled that goal. And so I am here tonight to present these trauma kits, which this was the kind that was recommended by the Sheriff's Office as far as the best to have on site. So we have 36 kits to present to you all this evening for you to put in the classrooms. It is our sincere and heartfelt prayer that this gift will never be used. It will collect dust and just be forgotten about. But it is also our heartfelt prayer that should these gifts be needed, that they will save our children's lives. So I want to thank you for the privilege of being here tonight, and thank you for allowing us to partner with you and present these to the school system.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Pastor Barnes. The safety of the children always comes first, you know, and with your donation to our school system is greatly appreciated. And we want to also thank all the parishioners who donated this money so we can have this. So thank you again from the board. If any other board member would like to say anything?
Much appreciation.
I just wanted to say thank you for thinking of us.
Right.
For your donation, and thank you for thinking of all the children in St. Bernard Parish. And we appreciate the service that you do in our parish, but we also appreciate all of your parishioners, as Mr. England said, for their very generous gift. And it's wonderful that we're going to have more than one on hand at each school. It'll be about 3, right?
Right.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Right. And we hope it collects a lot of dust.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Right. Thank you. Anybody else? Thank you, Pastor Barnes. Okay. Okay, we move on to item number 6, recognition of receipt of the GFOA Government Financial Officer Association and the ASBO Association School Board Official Awards for Excellence in Finance Reporting. Mr. Dave Fernandez, you have the podium, sir. Another fine year, huh, Mr. Fernandez?
I guess so.
Yes,
Well, you know, it's kind of, you know, I think this is like the 23rd or 24th year, so we have to get to the core of
that is a terrific run, Mr. Fernandez, and I know
well,
your
it was
staff.
all started by Ms. Voce, so and she expects it to continue. So we're going to make it continue. No, it is. It's a lot of work, and it's a testament to not only the business staff in our schools, our business department staff, but also the internal parts of the financial statements, which reflects the policies of the board and really the operations of the school system, which everyone in the system works towards. So I guess everybody can take credit for the presentation and the awards.
Yeah.
So,
Dr.
anyway.
Kraft.
I want you to know you'd be proud of David. I believe Mr. Warner was there. He presented to the Rotary Club the overview of what goes in the financing of the school district. He did an excellent job, and they are apprised of what's going on a lot better than they were. And this is what I tell people all over the state as president of the School Boards Association. We've been preaching to the choir so long we got accustomed to it. We got to reach out in the general community. We've got to educate the general public. They need to know what's going on, and they will have some talking points, and rather than spreading rumors about public education. So we need the truth out there, and they need to know what's going on. So we encourage that all throughout the state. And he did an excellent job representing the financial part of the school system in St. Bernard, and I certainly was proud of it. Thank you very much, David.
Very good.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Yeah,
Mr. Warner.
I was at that presentation, and you did do an excellent job, Mr. Fernandez. You actually had some color in your presentation.
I did that just for you, Mr. Warner. That was just for you.
But it was very, it was very understandable for laymen to grasp it, and you really did a good job of bringing a very comprehensive subject down to a level that a lot of people could understand it. And like Dr. Kraft said, you should get around and get to a few more groups and organizations to present that, because it is powerful.
Well, it's hot off the press. PowerPoint. That's why they call it power.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Ms. Dysart.
I just want to say, Mr. Fernandez, you mentioned it was the 23rd or 24th year. I remember the first year we got this award, and there were just a handful of governmental bodies that got it in the state, and that includes all governmental bodies, not only school boards, but, you know, governments and, you know, any form of, you know, parish government. And, you know, to say, oh, it's only the 23rd or 24th, it's hard to even say congratulations. I mean, because it's kind of like an expectation now. You know, we got to do it. and
like Groundhog's Day, deja vu, huh?
That's right. But it shouldn't be taken lightly. And it's a wonderful award, and you know, it just shows that you know, the accounting system is working, and it's wonderful, and that, you know, all our funds are well spent. And Ms. Voce, yes, you were, I think, the financial officer at the time when we first got this award. And then, of course, Mr. Fernandez and his staff and all the schools. I know that we have so many, you know, checkpoints of the schools themselves when, you know, they need to order something, or, you know, I know the parents clubs, you know, from one end to the other spectrum, you know, we have accountability. So congratulations to all in our school system who abide by each and every one of our, you know, strict commands, and under your watch, Mr. Fernandez and Ms. Voce, we appreciate the great work that you do, and your staff, your very small staff. We always have to mention that.
Right.
Yes.
So thank you very, very much for your hard work.
Thank you, Ms. Dysart. Ms. Voce.
You know, I don't know what else is new to say, because we do this each year, and it's just a very nice habit to get into. But I do want to just remind everyone that Mr. Fernandez is probably one of the most dedicated individuals you can ever imagine, and dedicated to our school system. And is here day and night, working not only within this structure here in the central office, but you see him out at all the different activities. You'll see him on a Saturday morning with Miss Aceveda at the MoMA Center, helping her to collect, just because it's a nice thing to do. And see him at the concession stands at the football games on Friday nights, and with the Alumni Association, out at the fishing rodeo or the golf tournament, and things that most people in his position do not do. And is truly a dedicated individual to our school system and to this community. And along with that, as you have mentioned, Ms. Dysart, these types of accomplishments don't just happen. You know, the board sets the policy and the framework under which we all operate, and the policies and such. And this goes all the way down to the basic school level, where people will say, well, why can't I just go buy this? Why can't I just do this? And very painstakingly, we explain that we have ethics laws that we deal with, public bid laws that we deal with, procedures that we must follow, and monitoring and audits out of the gazoo. I mean, it is just every time you turn around. And it is just a wonderful thing to say that these are awards for financial reporting. But more importantly, what we get as responses in our audits are or as important, if not more important, than the reporting piece, in that we have never had in all this time a question cost or adjusting entries or anything from a financial standpoint, not even a management letter with suggestions for improvements in internal controls. So we run a financial operation that is really excellent from every aspect, top down, bottom up, and sideways, and anywhere you want to go. And over the past 12 to 13 years, we've had over $500 million flow through this school system in federal monies, as well as our regular allocations, but federal monies through FEMA and community development block grants. And we have never had a question cost on a dime, a penny of any of these funds as we begin to close out that endeavor. So I just want the public to know that, you know, we've been good stewards of the public funds, and Mr. Fernandez has led that effort, but it has been a school system-wide effort, because as people have to participate in this process, they do understand that it's a process. We try to explain to them, you know, David does a good job in those explanations, and we get buy-in from our staff, that this is what we have to do and this is what we have to follow. So just to kind of, that's kudos to everyone within our school system, from the person who originates a requisition and said, really like to have that, all the way through the entire process to make it work. So.
Thank you, Ms. Foche. Mr. Fernandez, thank you, sir, for all your efforts.
Thank you.
I know, you're going to blush. I can
He's blushing.
every now and then.
Did he, huh? Right. Okay. Move on to item number 7, is educational. Mr. Gaines.
I see Mrs. Mary Lametta jogging up here and sharing with us our summer programs this year.
Yes, good evening. And before I review the summer programs, I just wanted to take a minute to say a big thank you to all the wonderful adults who are working tirelessly to really provide some valuable and fun and exciting experiences for our students this summer. And as you can see from the list, we'll start with the summer grade recovery and end of course remediation program that we're running over at Davies Elementary School for the 1st through 5th graders and at Chalmette High School for the 6th through 12th. We're doing grade recovery. We started May 30th and we're going to run through June 22nd. We will have the end of course test for the high school students that last week, June 18th through the 22nd. And the students have been wonderful. The teachers have been working so hard, meeting their needs, figuring out where their deficits are, working with them, guiding them, and really putting some interventions in that I know our big goal for them is to be successful when they start the ground running next school year. And they've been happy getting on the bus, getting off the bus. The progress reports came out last week and they were happy to get them because they had worked so hard. So we're really having a great summer experience there. Alongside that, we're running the Accelerated Reader program at Joseph Davies Library. Same dates, from 8:15 to 12:45, and students from current grades 1 through, entering grades 1 through 12. We've had about 30 students per day take advantage of that program. They're eager to read, eager to get their points, and we have some competitive, motivated readers out there. So that's been fun also. And item 3, we have our driver's ed program with close to 20 students have finished their classroom hours and they're currently working on their 8 hours of driving, and we run the classroom hours over at Chalmette High School. In addition, at the Chalmette High School Academy swimming pool, we have our swim program. We've finished our first session, which ran, of course, the May 28th through June 8th, and we're on session 2. We do hour-long sessions. We start at 11 o'clock, and the last session ends at 4:15, and we're servicing about 60 students there, and that's been fun. I went and observed that today and had some really excited swimmers, and they've just had some really good things to say about the program, so that was fun. Now, item 5, the STEM camp at Momus. We're really excited about that. We're going to run 2 sessions, week 1, June 18th through the 22nd, and week 2, June 25th through the 29th, from 8 to 3, students in grades 1 to 5. And the exciting thing for that, I did give you a flyer in addition to this list. I gave you a flyer on the STEM camp just to give you more information on it. The students will be doing activities on all areas of science and STEM, and they'll have lab journals they'll complete each day when they do their experiments. They're going to do some actually different experiments the second week from the first week, so students can go both weeks if they would like to join both weeks. That's going to be a fun time, and Ms. LaPre Snyder actually talked about the Into the Woods, the Performing Arts Academy presentation that we're going to have there. Of course, it's going to run from June 22nd through July 1st, and they still have some tickets available, $15 a ticket, and I have the dates labeled for you there, as she mentioned on the Super News and in her presentation as well. I also gave you the flyer, the press release flyer on Into the Woods as well, to give you more comprehensive information on that as well, since these are our 2 upcoming programs.
So any questions? Any?
Mr. Gaines.
Question here, Mr. Gaines. Yeah, Ms. Lametta, going back to the driver ed program, and
Okay.
that's usually offered every semester beginning. What is a fee for the people that would like to enter this in the future?
I'm not sure of the fee, but I can get it to you before the meeting ends. I'll have to
Okay,
find
yeah,
that
we
for
just
you.
need
I'm
to
not
announce
sure.
it to the general public.
Yes, I'm
because
sorry.
there's
Yes,
a
I
lot
will
of
get that
people,
for you.
They want those youngsters, especially for insurance, to have driver training. And
Sure, let me see.
that's
I might be
almost
able to get it.
mandatory to get driver training to get that insurance break. So we appreciate that. If you can get that, and we'll announce it at the board meeting. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I have news just coming in. $350 is the fee for driver's ed.
$350. Yeah, that's for the, that's
$350.
8 hours of, that's for the 30 hours of classroom
Yes,
instruction and
and
the 8 hours of
the driving. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
and usually on the drivers, the most they'll have is 2 students in each car, so that's a bargain. That's a bargain in this day's things. So we appreciate that. Chalmette High offers that program, and also the swimming summer program. Is it a fee on that for the people?
Yes, sir,
that
that's $50 per session.
$50, okay. All right, thank you much for all you do.
Sure. Ms. Lemoyne.
Yes, I thank you so much, Ms. Lametta, for your presentation. And I just wanted to echo again that we want to thank all of the faculty and staff that are working so diligently to put together all of these summer programs, because this is such a comprehensive list, from performing arts to academic, driver's ed. And I'm really excited about the MOMIS summer camp. It's great to see how things are evolving there at MOMIS, you know, starting with a few years ago when we were just kind of working on the planetarium activities with all of the students in the district, then doing the evening and weekend shows, and now the summer camp. So many great opportunities for the whole community. So thank you to Gina Acevedo, everyone that's involved. I know Ms. Ozuna is going to be working with the summer camp, and Ms. Hall as well. So we want to thank them. Thanks.
Anybody else? Mr. Long.
A quick question about the driver's ed and the summer swim program. Are they open just to St. Bernard Parish public school students?
The swim is not, and the driver's ed, I'm not sure. I have to check.
It's
that.
open. We
Is
take
it
our students first.
first? Okay, thank you.
They get priority.
Cedar Bennett College had driver training, that's what we did. We served the St. Bernard students in any space we had. We had the people from outside.
The swim program and the science STEM camp are open to everyone.
Yes.
In St. Bernard Parish.
Okay, fine, thank you.
Anybody else?
Thank you, Ms. Lametta. The STEM camp, I was just wondering, is the capacity full yet, or are
It
there
is
still
not.
room?
We do have some spots left in the first week and in the second week.
Okay.
So we do still have some openings.
So
Yes.
anyone interested should call.
Let's see, they can call the school board office here,
School board office
301-2000.
Okay.
Or at the MoMA
Or at the
Center.
MoMA
MoMA
Center
Center.
itself. Okay, good, just information, thank you.
Yes, we still have a few
I
more
appreciate
spots.
it.
I'm sorry, what?
Yes.
Yes, Ms. Acevedo will be running it.
And we do have some veteran teachers from the district
then some
working
of
there
our
as well.
teachers.
Yes. It will be. Telltale sign for me is all the kids are smiling. When I go in all these programs and observe, the kids are doing hard work, but they're smiling. They're happy to be there, and the teachers are really encouraging them and nurturing them. So it's been good.
And we need more people graduating and going into the science sector. It's a demand for that.
Anybody else? Well, I'm looking forward to going. Is that 3D program at the MoMA Center happening with the planetarium?
I know they'll be doing a planetarium show every day, but I'm not sure what it is.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. Mr.
Thank you. Good evening.
Move on to item number 8, it's executive session. Dr. Kraft.
Yeah, Mr. Granberry, you have some information for us.
Well, yeah, we have some information.
We're always happy to receive the information that you present. Looks like you've been extremely busy this summer.
How they say, it only just begun.
Yeah, it's like a revolving door. It never
Yeah.
stops. You have a chance to look over what we have here, and then make sure you ask Mr. Granberry any questions that you have. Take a few moments. Yeah, Mr. Gaines?
I'm just curious, how many Teach for America teachers we hired?
We got 8 or 9?
8 or 9.
8 or
Yeah.
9.
I think it was
I think
9.
it's 9. I
So
think
it's
nine.
dwindling down.
Yeah, usually.
Yes, well,
Is that usually in math or science are the ones?
Oh, yes. These are in the only ones that we hire in the critical shortage area where we cannot find certified teachers.
Thank you.
That makes sense.
Right now, we have a lot of critical shortage.
You still have shortage in special ed?
I counted today, we only need 9 special ed teachers at this time.
There's a little shortage.
That's elementary, middle, and high.
Okay.
So, yeah.
That's doable. That's doable. Any questions that we have of Mr. Granberry before we let him go? Yes, Mr. Warner.
Looks like you selected some assistant principals.
Right.
Well, that's
the-
Ms. Foche.
I'm gonna.
Yes,
We're ready for that?
Yeah, Ms. Roche, you can go ahead and go over the assistant principal appointments.
Okay, obviously, we have just appointed 3 new principals for the 3 who have retired, and each of those 3 new principals will former assistant principals at their schools. So we had to then advertise the openings at Andrew Jackson Middle, Davies Elementary, and Lacoste Elementary. So included, you can see at each school the applicants, and we had a very good selection from which to choose. So this is good that we are building up a good pool of very qualified people who are competing for these positions. The interview teams for each of the positions you have listed, and of course, the principal is the primary interviewer for each of these because this is the person they are selecting to work very closely with them. And along with the principal, you can see 2 of our supervisors were in on each of these interviews. So it's my pleasure at Andrew Jackson Middle School. The selection for the assistant principal is Mr. Todd Larsh. He has been a 20-year educator. Last few years, he has been a special education teacher at Andrew Jackson Middle School and has been instrumental in much of what has been very good at that particular school. He's done an excellent job, and as the disciplinarian at Andrew Jackson, we expect him to do an even better job. He's well respected by the students and the parents, and Ms. Licciardi was very happy to make that recommendation as the lead on the interview team. At Davies Elementary, our new principal, Ms. Tiffany Glapion, was the lead interviewer, along with the 2 supervisors and their recommendation. And the selection for the assistant principal at Davies Elementary is Ms. Lisa Pullman. She has been an educator for the last 16 years, most recently for several years at Araby Elementary as the 3rd grade teacher leader. So she has tremendous experience in the curriculum area and working with the students and the teachers as well, and is a well-respected educator in our system. And for the assistant superintendent of Lacoste Elementary, our lead interview.
Superintendent?
What did I say?
Superintendent.
Well, Mary, where's Mary?
I know a few answers in my presentation. But you're not going to replace me already, are you?
Don't fool with it.
Okay,
Her
the
slot.
assistant principal.
Assistant principal, right.
Of Lacoste Elementary
Correction.
School. Our new principal there, Miss Heather Morell, as our lead interviewer, along with the supervisors who were with her on the team. Their selection for the assistant principal at Lacoste is Miss Erin St. Philip, who is currently a 1st grade teacher leader at Lacoste Elementary and has done an excellent job in that capacity, has been in our system as an educator for the past 7 years. So we just want to congratulate these 3 individuals, and as you can see from the applicants, we have a very good applicant pool for future positions.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
That's very healthy to have that many applicants. You had respectively 7, 8, and 10. So again, there's a keen interest in moving into administration. That means we got some quality people out there, and they'll be willing to step into the slots. And it's always good to have someone to fill the spaces as we move forward. So we appreciate those appointments and look forward. We're working with the new assistant principals as well as the new principals. So this school year will be different, so to speak, and I'm quite sure and comfortable that they're going to take the ball and run with it very, very, very well. So if there's nothing else, we'll say thank you, Mr. Granberry, for all you do. Appreciate it.
All right.
All right. Next item on the agenda.
The next item on the agenda is the renewal of excess workman's compensation insurance. Gentlemen?
Yep. Okay, in your package you have a recommendation for renewal of an excess workers' compensation policy. As you know, we're self-insured for workers' compensation, and as a self-insured program, we purchase excess insurance. Once the expenses reach a certain level, the excess insurance will kick in. And helping us do that are our friends from Clements Insurance Services, Mrs. Ritchie and Timothy Clements, who are here today to answer any questions you might have. And you see in the second page kind of a historical view of past years of excess policies. These policy premiums usually based on salaries because they fund a lot of the indemnity payments to employees. So we are recommending renewal with Safety National Insurance Company at a premium of I'm sorry?
State.
Oh, I'm sorry, State National.
State National.
State National Insurance. I'm not reading too well tonight, I'm sorry.
Join the
State
club,
National
huh?
Insurance.
It's been a long day.
It's been a long day.
I'm trying to take the heat off of Mary a little bit. A premium of $44,212, and for your consideration.
Do we have any questions from the board? If we have no questions, please vote your machines.
Well, we need a motion. I'll make a motion.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I move that we accept the report. Continue on to the regular board.
Okay. All right, we have a first and a second. Now.
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
I'm just,
Mr. Dysart.
Mr. Clements, I'm just curious. We only had one bidder on this, for this.
That's state and safety.
Yeah.
What's
okay.
happening now is the companies, all the other competitors are at a $50,000 minimum premium. So we've been able to work with this company the last number of years to keep it below that threshold.
Okay. All right, I was just curious.
There's not too many players in this arena.
No.
Very few.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Any further questions or comments? Please, vote your machines.
Motion passes 10-0.
Thank you, gentlemen.
The next is bid tabulation for official journal. Mr. Warner,
Thank you, Mr. Eaton.
anytime.
Item number 10 is the bid tabulation for official journal. Mr. Fernandez.
Yes, sir. In your package, you have the tabulation of our bid for official journal, and we exhaustively examined the bid, and we are going to recommend St. Bernard Voice as the official journal for next year.
So that price remains pretty consistent?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I move that we accept this and move it to the full board. There's a recommendation from the committee.
Okay, we got a first by Dr. Kraft, second by Mr. Long. Mr. Gaines, you have a question
I
or
was
comment?
just curious, do the other papers submit bids at all, or?
The state law that establishes which papers are eligible to be in official journal, and, at this time, St. Bernard Voice is the only paper in the parish that meets all of those.
Have to be
in that
domiciled in the
parish that
parish.
meets all of those criteria, so the others don't bid at this time because
That's it?
they
Okay.
wouldn't be selected, so. But,
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Please cast your
Motion passes 10-0.
number 11. This is a bid tabulation for vehicle paint and repairs.
Sir. Yeah, I take it away. Okay, you have a bid tabulation in your packets of the painting and minor body repairs. We had 3 bidders. It was very close. We are recommending the bidder that overall has the lowest bid on each item, And again, it was very close, but we're going to recommend Friedelis Body Shop.
Mr. Warner?
Yep.
I'd like to make,
Dyson.
I'd like to make a motion that we accept the lowest bid on this item for painting and minor body repairs to Friedelis, which is
Yeah.
the lowest bid.
Right. I'd like to have a question before we vote.
Okay, Doctor. All right, we have a motion by Ms. Dysart, a second by Mr. Campbell.
Yeah.
Dr. Kraft, you have a
Yeah, I
question?
see on the frame labor there, you had no bid by Auto Masters. Is
Right.
any reason for a no bid? Mechanic labor was no bid by 2 of the ones, and Mr. Friedella was the only one that gave a bid of $15.
Right, we include mechanic labor. In the past, we've included mechanic labor. We very seldom, if ever, use that particular item.
Yeah.
And 2 of them chose not to bid it, but it really wasn't a factor in the decision.
It wasn't a factor,
The
okay.
frame labor was a factor because we do, that's part of the body repairs is the frame labor.
And I guess your
one of
hourly
them
rates-
did no bid on it, but it wasn't a big difference between him and the winner. So we selected Friedelis, who we've dealt with before many years, and have done an excellent job.
Yeah, they're here in the parish and they're close by.
Yes, sir.
That's good. I have no other questions there.
Anybody else have any other questions? All right, we have a motion and a second. Go ahead and cast your vote.
You got it.
Mr. Egan?
Mr. Egan, vote your machine.
Motion passes 10-0.
Moving along.
That's a good one.
Item number 12, bid tabulation for gas, diesel, lubricating, oil, transmission fluid, and antifreeze. Mr. Fernandez.
Okay, you have the tabulation for those items. There's only one thing I'd like to bring to your attention in transmission fluid. We are not recommending the low bidder on this item because the transmission fluid they bid does not meet the specifications we
It's
need
gotta
for
meet
our
the
buses.
right.
So it's just, that item is
Yeah,
disqualified.
you don't want any bad transmission fluid because your transmissions go out in your
Yes,
buses.
sir.
Yeah.
So
Wanna
other
get the
than that,
best.
other than that item, we recommend, well, we recommend the lowest responsive bid on each item.
So I like that the antifreeze is going down, yeah. I like that, yeah. At one time, they were trying to get by with about $14, but it's $5.95. That's more reasonable. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're a negotiator.
We try our best, Dr. Kraft.
I would like to get that gas price constant like that. It keeps going up and down like the stock market.
Oh, yeah, it's based on the foundation, yeah.
Any other questions from board members? Anybody interested in making a motion?
I'll make a motion to
All right, Mr. Long.
accept the recommendation from the administration on the lowest bidder.
We had a first by Mr. Long, a second by Mr. Sheldon. All those in favor, please cast your votes.
Cast your votes.
Motion passes 10-0.
All right, all right. We're doing good.
Okay.
All right, item number 13, bid tabulation for paper, cleaning, and custodial supplies.
Okay,
Mr. Fernandez.
Thank you, sir. In your package, you have, again, the tabulation for paper cleaning and custodial supplies. We are recommending the low bidder on each item.
Ms. Dysart.
I'd like to move that we accept the lowest bid on each item for paper cleaning and custodial supplies as bid.
I'll second.
Okay. We have a first by Mrs. Dysart, a second by Mr. Loyne. Mr. Gaines, have any questions or anything? Anybody else? All right, go ahead and cast your vote.
Motion passes 10-0.
Thank you.
Hello, good evening.
Hello there.
Hello.
Item number 14 is a bid tabulation for spices and seasoning. Class 2 cereal, dried beans and crackers. Class 3 frozen foods. Class 5 meat and meat products. Class 6 poultry and egg. Class 7 seafood products. Class 8 in canned goods. Class 9 for the period, this is through July 1st, 2018 through December 31st, 2018. Ms. Bloom.
Hello. Enclosed in your packet, you have a bid tabulation for 6 months of food products that we'll be using in our schools and throughout our school system. 3 vendors bid on the items that we will purchase, and we took the lowest bidder on all items with respect to the bid specs being followed and fulfilled.
Mr. Warner, I so move to accept this bid.
Okay, Mr. Gaines, got a first?
Second.
Dr. Kraft, second. Anyone else? Any other board members? Dr. Kraft, you want to make a comment?
Yeah, I'll make a comment. Ms. Bloom, she does a great job with the food service throughout the school district, and any of you are invited on July the 19th. I believe she'll be speaking to the Rotary and prize and everything that's going on.
Dr. Kraft, I want her to go to Kiwanis too now.
Well, no, I got her first, so it's up to you what you do after that.
Okay.
I'm quite sure after you hear the word will get around to everybody. She'll be in great demand. Thank you, Ms. Bloom, for all you do. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Dr. Kraft, what's the date of that stuff?
July the 19th, I believe, right? Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
You're
Mr.
inviting all of us?
You're all invited,
Okay.
and
gonna
you'll be
pay
our
for our
guest. You won't
lunch?
even have to pay. The Rotary will pick up the tab.
There you go.
You can't beat that. We can handle the $5.
All right, thank you.
Please cast your vote.
Motion passes 10-0.
Thank you, Ms. Bloom. Okay, we're going to go on to item number 15, but before we go to item 15, we're going to have to add this to the agenda. So, Cajun Industries LLC, Cajun Contractors, and Cajun Deep Foundation LLC versus Sheriff James Pullman, ex officio tax collector, St. Bernard Parish. So, I need to get a motion to add this to the agenda.
And executive session?
Well, we're going to go. We got to put it on the agenda first,
Okay,
and then we're going to.
I move that we put it on the agenda. We get a second and vote on it.
Okay, got a first by Dr. Kraft, second by Mr. Warner. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? So moved. Okay, now we need to go into executive session. I need a
I
motion.
move we go into executive session to discuss this suit.
Okay, second by Mr. Warner. All in favor? Okay, we're now going into executive session.
Close the door there, David. And of course, Ms. Faucher is staying, and anyone that she designates.
Okay.
Okay, I move that we come out of the executive session. We get a second and vote on it.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Going on to item number 17, adjournment.
Mr. Campbell moved, I second.
Okay. All in favor?
All in favor, aye.
Any opposed? This meeting's adjourned. Thank you.
Harry is on.